All right, welcome to another wonderful episode of Security Halt podcast. I'm here with my main squeeze, Eric. We got a special assignment, special undercover story we want to bring to the surface, and we have just a guy to help us talk about it. Please, unnamed source, give us your name.
Hey guys, you just call me Doxy on this, just in case we get into some obscure things that we don't necessarily want attributable.
They killed Epstein. They're coming for Dr. Doxy. I guarantee it. So for the past 15, 16 years, I have noticed that our community is really shitty about getting help, not only for just the mental health stuff, but the physical stuff. Numerous senior 18 Zulus and Sergeant Majors, I've seen them just basically crawl out of service, facing so many different ailments. I mean, Eric, can you agree with this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's the status quo, though. Right?
Yeah.
Stay on the team as long as you can, ignore everything, and then you'll get it fixed when you get out.
But little known fact: when you get out, is a little too late. Now,
yeah.
Dr. Doxy, we were talking about something the other night that was kind of like, holy shit, this is an issue that I've just started seeing to add on top of all the other health issues. Care to bring us up to light? Or up to speed,
right,
I should say.
Up to light speed.
Light speed,
all right,
yes.
Hit it, Chewy. So there's a couple things going on. Basically, I just reached out to you and I was like, hey, man, just wanted to talk to you about some blood labs and some blood lead levels, see what was going on. And then I went into a little bit of further detail. So there's something that I've been seeing, at least in my community and with the guys around me, and you obviously as well. You were talking about that. It seems like most of the dudes that are on the teams, especially the mid to late career guys, like 12 years up, around our 30s and such, dude, a lot of us are pretty diabetic, like sitting around fasting blood glucose levels of like 120, which is borderline. Like 125 is diagnosable. And then you go and get your A1C tested, and that's high. It's not diagnosable, but it's high. Like, I think 6.5 is diagnosable for diabetes. I'm sitting around like a 5.3 right now. My cortisol's crap.
Yeah.
My sleep's crap. I have sleep apnea, and you guys were talking about that on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
What else? The blood lead levels.
The thing that really shocked me was the diabetics that I'm starting to see on the teams, and not just like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not
big dudes.
It's not dudes that are like fat, like you
guys just saw me. I mean, I'm a little fluffy. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not.
I think you look great.
You're fucking gorgeous.
Not all tight and whatnot, but
but it's these super fit, athletic dudes, shredded. In fact, somebody that's a already a social media star for the soft. Fuck, I can't even talk tonight. I don't know if you know the gamer Stronium.
I don't.
Is
he that Green Beret?
He's a Green Beret
on the Army
gamer. Team? Yes. He just got diagnosed, and he's now going through that. And that's just somebody that's sort of like, a little bit elevated status. And I've seen and started hearing more guys at the gym talking about this. And, those are guys are like everything is measured, everything that they do on their fitness. Because, a lot of vanity in there. But there's also a lot of guys that just there's also a lot of guys just sort of like just fucking, hey, whatever. I'm just going to work out, eat whatever the fuck I want. And they might not be tracking what they're, what they might be getting down the road in. They might be getting themselves into that's happening to our guys. And you were citing a recent report, weren't you?
So there was two. There was the one that Hunter 7 just published earlier last week. That we can get into that. That was more environmental. But there was a small study done, or released is what I should say, mid-December.
Yeah.
About endurance athletes, like ultra marathons specifically, like efforts over 3 hours. Right, we've all done that. If you're in this community, you've done an effort of over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Whether you're infilling the trek or just sucking at ranger school, whatever you've done that. So what they found out is 4 out of 10, or if I remember, it was either 30% or 40%. That skews a lot. Let's go with 30%. Let's go conservative on this. But 30% of those guys, while still actively training and still being active in their sport, are pre-diabetic.
Oh, shit.
Fasted blood glucoses near diabetic levels. And I mean, we talked about this like what was it, 2020?
Yeah.
What year is it?
Which brings me to my next point: traumatic brain injuries.
None of this matters.
Yeah, for real. But like
every year.
So I was trending, right? I've been taking biannual blood labs since I was like late 20s.
Yeah.
So, and just because I'm a nerd and I want those data points. So my doc, after my ultra, I got my labs taken, and doc read them over and was like, "Hey, we need to have a conversation." That's when he told me I was pre-diabetic. And then he was able to look back at my history, and I've been trending that way, but I had a huge spike and jump post ultra. So the big benefit to that was, like, before any major change in my training, major change in my diet, I would go and get my full metabolic panel, CBC with diff, like all those basic things, and he would have the justification typed up. This may only be unique to us being able to do that, since we have a different relationship with our providers in the battalion than we do with PMCs. But we did that, and he was able to see that, all right, one, I wasn't eating enough protein during parts of it, because you could see that in my blood labs. And then two, like, just that huge change, because at points during that training, I was eating 500, 600 grams of carbs like a day and still losing weight.
Fuck, man.
That's wild.
And I only ran long one time a week, and that's when I would make my long effort. It was like on a Saturday. But
I remember when you were going through this and seeing it through your Instagram posts, and I'm like, the guy's a fucking machine. And there's so many guys out there that literally like just live for this type of physical endurance activity, and it's almost like they're prepping to be a athlete in the CrossFit Games. And I'm seeing it more now because the war's over, and dudes,
it's so
like,
dumb.
It's like what's the most important thing? Your best ODA competitions, you gotta compete, and like, you're gonna get to that point where you're going to fucking hurt yourself. Like, you're not as invisible as you think you are. Like,
100%.
If we take it all the way back to when we did that last best ODA, Eric, like, that's insane. Like, and there was that one team that always took first for like the longest time, and those dudes were just doing it on a weekly basis. Like,
dive team, I take it.
No, like these.
Got that.
Believe it or not, I think these guys were a free fall team. And
whoa,
lies.
I believe that.
But the thing is, it's
gnarly.
You can't maintain that for so long.
No, you peak and then you come back down. Like, how many times have we gotten that briefing of you stimulus, right? Then you have that spike in cortisol, and then your testosterone, everything drops, and then everything rebalances after you rest.
Yeah,
we've all seen that briefing from like Thor, the nutritionist at SLC, wherever.
Yeah,
those performance people are gonna find you, and they're gonna tell you this.
Yeah,
but if you're constantly just hammering yourself, you never have a chance to recover, and then you get overuse injuries.
Eric and I have a very intimate knowledge of what it's like to push that envelope, because Eric got fucking yoked on deployment, and
That's what I'm talking about. As you should.
Eric,
As you
tell us about your journey, because I remember, I think you just came into the ops and one day and you're like, I'm gonna get huge.
Yeah. Well, I don't recommend it at all. So when we went out to Faria, we were in Maimana. Like, we weren't eating at all, and it was super stressful. I got down to, what was I, 150?
Yeah.
From all that weight loss and stress, and then I got 190,
Yeah.
195 in a few months.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Creatine.
Oh,
It's amazing.
Yeah. It was the special 3-5 chicken. You guys didn't get that either?
It's that 20 grams of creatine a day will get you thick.
Yeah.
I was seeing Eric.
It did help. But prior to that deployment, I tore ligaments in my right ankle.
Oh, damn.
And I went through rehab and everything. Well, they weren't really there attached, but they pushed me through anyway. So I was dealing with this horrific pain on these missions, carrying the fucking mortar on my back, like everything's fine.
I think
that helped. Ignore that pain, which you're not supposed to feel pain, at all. That's weird. That's weird to me.
Yeah,
that's not how any of us in this community feel.
Right.
I think pain is on some, even if you're ignoring it. Like I think I told about this. It wasn't until I started getting into a Calm app, to help me sleep.
Yeah,
it was a body awareness meditation.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I started focusing on the top of my head all the way around to the crown. I was like, holy shit, my head is pounding right now. Went all the way down. I was like, my shoulders are fucked, my hips fucked, my low back's fucked, my knees are fucked. What isn't hurting?
It's crazy, right? So I went through the exact same thing as you're talking about with the whole mindfulness.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, this hurts.
Turn it off. I want to go back.
Yeah.
I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah, but it is important because those little pains, my shoulder kind of hurts, and they're like, yeah, you have 2 tears, dude.
Yeah.
You
too. Yeah. That I knew I have a slap tear on my left shoulder, and I have a labral cyst that occupied the space of a torn labrum too. And then on my right, I know that one's got a slap tear because it feels the exact same. Lack of range of motion in certain positions.
Yeah.
And I just haven't gotten it taken care of. I'm trying to get in the RTF. That's the Return to Force program through NICO, Intrepid Spirit. And hopefully I can get all these things looked at while I'm getting myself right.
It's hard though, because then you have that back of your mind. You don't want to let your team down. You don't want to.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, it's directly linked to
you still want to try to be operational.
That feeling of being shameful. Like, oh man, I feel like if I go see a doctor, I'm this disgusting fucking humanoid. How dare I? Well, let's put it this way. There's
holding the team back.
The reality of it is, if you go get healthy, get the rest, get the doctors to take care of you, you're going to come back to the team a better individual. You're going to be able to actually do your job and not have to grimace in pain. Trust me, this is from somebody that took Toradol for 7 fucking months. Don't do that. It's horrible for your body. Horrible.
You're one of those guys. I'm that dealer. I'm that Toradol dealer.
Yeah.
I feel I'm straight up a pusher. Fucking during cephalic, at least once a week, I was jamming a needle in one of the dudes' bags, if not more than that, or their butts for their backs, whatever.
Butts.
Oh man,
but it sucks because it's dude, this is only going to get you so far. And it's only making it so that you can do more damage. Because right now, what are we doing? We're running around in kit, being athletic.
Yeah.
Which is probably the worst thing you could be doing for whatever's happening with your back. You're talking about tingling downstream, in your feet and numbness. It's we need to think about this, man.
Exactly. Yeah, it's it's going to be better for you in the long run, better for your family, better for you when you get out. Because one of the things since starting this, this whole journey is reaching back and talking to all our friends that got out before us, all that collective knowledge, and tapping into that as a resource. And every single person has told us the one universal thing that they wish they could have gone back and done right is getting help for their physical and mental health issues before they left. Because once you're out, once you're dealing with the VA, they don't have to put a rush or an emphasis on something.
No.
They don't have to sit there and like push it through to make sure you get seen. Right now, you're an asset. You're somebody that's needed in that capacity on a team. Take advantage of that. Make sure you get the help you need. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it took a change in culture. Like we switched team sergeant and switched leadership, and this team sergeant is upfront and honest with his limitations, his medical background, and all that stuff. Like usually, I pull guys aside with that, but his openness is one like him talking about NICO, talking about all of his stuff going on. Once he started having that conversation, like openly in the team room, just all of us bullshitting, it's like, oh, hey, I'm like, once I did that little exercise, I texted him like the next day and was like, hey, man, I got some things going on. And he was like, yeah, dude, get in as soon as you can, get in that program. He's been super supportive.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with like ADHD. Like he was complaining about that from the get-go when he got in. He's like, don't touch my Adderall. And do you have any, like making that joke?
Yeah.
But like ADHD is something that most of us that have it back when we're younger, we figure out a way how to compensate for it. Like our certain things are OCD, it's mise en place, everything's in its place. And that works for a time. And then you get blown up a couple times. You have a couple range days with fucking rockets, firing a couple mortars, a couple firefights later. That shit don't work anymore, man.
Yeah. That's usually one of the first things they once you do that neuro assessment when you get to Intrepid Spirit, that's one of the first things that the doctor will always screen you for because he's seen it in the community. He's seen a lot of guys with ADHD. Again, another thing that a lot of us are dealing with, but we're too scared to go see a doctor, bring it out in the open. There's medications. There's things out there you can take. You don't have to do this thing alone.
Yeah, you don't have to be on stimulants either. There are there's other things you can do. I'm not going to say what I took and was on, but you need to know. You need to actually read the side effects.
Yeah. And
if you're having a bad time, if something that usually works isn't working, go get checked out. Go talk to your doc. But
and no, they should not prescribe you heroin. That's not a real thing.
Oh shit, we're not. Damn.
Fucking need it.
I just go with meth.
Chasing that dragon, man, you ain't never gonna catch it.
Well, and what's funny is like, a lot of us have ADHD. How many of us have ADHD? Not necessarily from childhood, but brought on from TBIs.
Yeah,
because the test results look very similar.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous just how much that can affect things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did you want to talk about the toxic exposure thing?
Let's hit that one. Let's drop that. Let's keep it rolling with that one. That's one of the ones that recently hit really close to home. So we've all seen the studies recently published about blood cancer, lung cancer. But one thing, guys are still not signing up for the burn pit. Not certification.
Registry.
Yeah, right there in the thread. When we dropped that link, like someone was like, "Which one do I register for?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
no big deal, dude. Right here. Here's the link."
And that dude was literally standing next to me, stirring 5-gallon friggin' burn pits of shit out in fucking
Fantastic.
Iraq with me. Yeah. Yeah,
that's with diesel. You gotta have diesel, and if it's from the local economy, more than likely there were still heavy metals in that fucking fuel.
Dude,
like in Afghanistan, for sure, there's still lead in there. Or methyl, what I forget what it is.
Yeah.
Methylethylene or some shit.
My favorite thing, though, is they issued us those wag bags so that we wouldn't have to burn them.
But we did.
But we, they just being sitting there choking up and coughing up noxious gases from the shit bag.
And then pop? Yeah, all of them.
Jesus.
It's just bags are exploding.
Holy fuck. Well, that's just like Iraq, but like if you spent any time in like any other third world country, like fucking China, India.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Jesus, South America, like Mexico City, great example.
Oh,
like,
dude.
You look at just the air pollution. Like,
yeah.
I had my SF or my memorandum for toxic exposure was 4 pages long after this last deployment.
Oh wow.
All the amount of stuff, of course, like Bath's water was on there.
Yeah,
and Kabul, but then all those other substations, like the dudes going into a area like occupying a closed base that's literally, picture a snowy Colorado day and then picture the snow. Shit, that's what the fucking fob looked like. There was paths where people weren't shitting, and that's where you would walk, but there was just shit everywhere.
So like San Francisco or California.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's astounding, just the amount of shit.
Yeah,
that we get exposed to. And that study wasn't even relevant to burn pits. This was just, hey, if you were like a rear gun on one of our old Humvees, or just a regular gunner on one of the old Humvees, just that open air exposure, or if you had that cloud of dust circle into your fucking Humvee, you're 300 times more likely to come down with respiratory illness in your future.
Yep. All that shit right into your lungs. Literally shit. Just all mixing in there. Ugh.
Shit, heavy metals, probably some I don't know, maybe some cut up glass, fiberglass, whatever you burn.
All that Plastics. Good stuff. That's like when you see when it's wintertime in Afghanistan and you see people making their shit patties to burn. It's like,
hey man, that's the best way to cook, right?
That's what I'm tasting early morning.
It's not even the human ones, or it's not even the like the cow one. It's human feces half the time too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it burns better.
It's a high octane.
Get me out of here.
It really adds a flavor to your chai.
That's how I made my coffee, you know? Like, instead of a jet boil, I just lit a fucking patty underneath it on top of my canteen cup. Just get it going, throw the Starbucks little Vista or whatever, the Visa packets. Get that going.
The other thing that I wanted to cover real quick is, we tend to deal with things and think they're just one thing. Oh, I got headaches. Oh man, everybody has back pain. Everybody has orthopedic problems. It's no big deal. Everybody deals with depression. We never think of them as compounding problems that are actually part of a syndrome, and they actually named it after us. Yeah. And Operator Syndrome sounds really cool. It sounds like Xbox's next.
It's the only time I'll ever be called Operator.
It is. It's you're in a hospital fighting for your life.
Diagnosis. Jesus.
But it's
the IBS and everything like that goes along with it.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of guys that are super fucked up and they don't know how to explain it or vocalize it to anyone and minimize all their issues.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just going to read to you guys what that entails. So, traumatic brain injury, endocrine dysfunction, sleep disturbance, obstructive sleep apnea, chronic joint, back pain, orthopedic problems, headaches, substance abuse, depression and suicide, post-traumatic stress disorder, anger, worry, rumination, and stress reactivity, marital, family, and community dysfunction, problems with sexual health and intimacy, being on guard or hypervigilant, memory, concentration, and cognitive impairments, vestibular and vision impairments, challenges of the transition from military to civilian life, existential issues common to operators include discounting the future, loss and grief, survivor's guilt, and meaning of killing, fear of developing invisible wounds. Like, are you
Hold on.
fucking kidding me?
That is so. Just real quick, did any of you, when you signed up to join the military, think you would even make it to this age?
Oh, hell no. Like, I thought, hey,
Yeah, no.
for one,
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Like that's already on that symptom list. You already checked it before you even joined. Jesus.
Everything after the first Iraq is just bonus in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Well, I might as well keep going back because I'm still here.
Dude, I swear to God, I feel like that's what half the contractors, when last time I was in Afghanistan, were doing.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, you're still here?
Yeah.
You were here back in like 2011. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Someone's got to fix these trucks.
Jambo.
Jesus.
But yeah, if you're listening to this and after I rattled off all those things, you're making a checklist of all the things you've got. Surprise, surprise! I think it's time that you go talk to your doc. It doesn't mean that if you were missing one of these, you don't have it. That's not the way this works. Like, I never thought I was going to have sleep apnea. I saw those machines, and I always told myself, like, I'm not going to get that. That's like what diabetic, fat dudes, old dudes in like their 70s. No, that's dudes that forget to breathe when they're sleeping. That can be anybody. Literally, you're dying in the middle of the night. Here's a fun fact. If you have a Fitbit and you're looking at your sleep diagram, like how you're tracking your sleep, look at all those little red dots in the middle of the night. Those disturbances, that's probably when you're dying and your body is fighting for oxygen. I didn't know that. Come to find out, that's why you snap out of it and you wake up. You're like, you weren't breathing. You're literally killing yourself little bits at a time at night.
I got one thing to add on to that.
Yeah.
If you're rocking a Garmin and you get REM, but you never hit deep sleep, like you go to REM, then light, and you just stay in light.
Yeah.
It's also a good indicator.
Yeah.
Because Garmin reads it out differently. That's why I want to bring that up.
You can get like 8 or 9 hours and still wake up and feel like a piece of shit. Because you're not actually getting sleep.
No.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The other big one that we always see in the team room is the marital and family problems. Like, how many guys don't want to go home or are constantly complaining? Like, you have to understand, like, yeah, everybody has their problems of marriage, and relationships are tricky things to navigate. But if you see your friends constantly struggling, like, there's something more to it. Like, be open, be willing to reach out and talk with people. Because all it takes is that one friend that's willing to be like, hey, man, I noticed you and fucking Stephanie are having a rough time, dude. Like, what's going on? Like, you don't have to feel weird about talking to your fucking teammate. Your fucking teammate. You're willing to say that you're going to kill somebody or die for that person. Well, how about you just make sure they're doing okay? You know? That's
interestingly enough, that's the name of my ex-wife. Thanks. Fucking hit the nail on the head, dude.
See, brain problems. I forgot you're not married anymore to her.
Oh, it's all good.
But yeah,
Jesus.
This is a long list, and it doesn't mean that if you're missing one or two, you're not suffering from it. It means that if you're being honest with yourself and you're going to hold yourself accountable to make sure you're around for your family and friends, get help now, because when you get out, it's too late. It's too late. You're going to be fighting a system. Whereas right now, there are places, doctors are willing to do everything they can to make sure that you're healthy, fit to fight, get back on the team, or transition out. It's your life, man. Like, you deserve to have the best quality of life after giving so much and spending so many years on a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if it gets to the point where they're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be on a team, it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing in life. We tell ourselves and we romanticize this idea that, like, team life is the greatest thing on earth. It's the most important thing. It really isn't.
No, it's not. Like, how I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Like, one of the things that no one talks about is how selfish this job is. Like, if you're really being honest with yourself, you're treating yourself, you're trying out for the minor leagues or like a professional, like, sports team, your job officially is number one. Like, you can say things all you want, but if you're honest with yourself, it genuinely is like the number one priority. And then you try to square everything else away and try to balance it, and it usually leaves families kind of out flapping.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I always look back on and I think about it, like personal story, personal experience. Like, we all give up so much when we first get there, when we first step into your group, into that team room, and you just want to be the best guy ever. And man, it's really hard to tell that young guy that, hey, there are other things in life that matter just as much, if not more. And family is one of them. Wife, your kids, mom, dad, everybody that has been there and supported you through that process. Make sure you're giving back to them as well. Like, they always say it, and we never listen to it. SF is a cold, sexy mistress. She's fucking awesome. She's that gorgeous girl that's gonna give you fucking awesome, great experience, but she's gonna leave you. And
for a younger man,
and he's gonna be Puerto Rican.
Huge dick.
Huge, massive dong. And by that point, you can't even get it up. That's one of the issues you deal with. So of course, she's going to leave you, and then you're going to be sitting there and fucking the B team or fucking battalion shop, and you're just going to be like, I used to be cool. And then before you know it, it's time to go. But isn't it better if you leave looking good, feeling good, your PP works, fucking you feel great? That's the last thing. You want to walk out as a victor, not someone that's been defeated. Hold your head up high when you're leaving onto your next chapter. Fucking your TBI taken care of, your headaches, gone. Hopefully all the surgeries you need, and ready for your next challenge, man. Because fuck, there's so many good things to be doing out there right now. Like, we could be an Instagram model. That's a hot happening new career. Fucking cat
TikTok
videos.
dancer.
Bro, you can make money as making cat videos? Get the fuck out of here.
Is that your retirement plan?
Bro, that's my retirement plan right there. I just bought 15 Cheshire cats and two Mexican hairless cats. Just making cat videos and content. Kitten Doc 120. That's my new Instagram handle. It costs a lot to buy from premium kitten clothing and attire. So if you want to donate to the Security Halt Kitten Foundation, please send your banking information or paychecks to floaterjoe@hotmail.com. That's floaterjoe@hotmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, I'm Cab. I've been joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric.
That's me. Hey, it's good. It's good being here, man. Okay. Perfect summary.
Yeah. We are dealing with a lot of issues. It's clearly evident. And Dr. Doxy, thank you for being here, brother. He's coming on here again. We're gonna talk about his life and his endeavors, but I felt like we need to get this information out, and I'm actually going to be doing a couple more of these with Doxy. Just put the vibe out there, got things to talk. All right, everybody.
And if anyone wants to deep dive this, check out 107 Foundation on Instagram and Task Force Dagger. Just look at what they're doing. Master Sergeant Jeff Dardia basically wrote the playbook for all these clinics that's running this now and what everyone's putting out. So check that shit out and just arm yourself.
That's right. With knowledge, because knowing is half the battle.
The other part's extreme violence.
That's right. Lots of violence against minorities.